Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley, Caronia. Thanks to everyone in the chat. I know everyone's dropping in and saying where they're from. I saw Tennessee, Texas. If you want to join everyone live watching the show at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you got to do it on Rumble. We are Rumble exclusive here. Rumble.com/Hayley is where you can watch Nightly Scroll. It's the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll. And if you want to listen later on, you can do that on your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Just search for Nightly Scroll with Hayley, and you can join in on all of the fun. First story of the night, though, not so fun. Okay, so we have Peanut the Squirrel. Remember Peanut the Squirrel? His owners in New York, horrible story about their pet squirrel. He was an internet sensation. And then the New York City government said, well, you're not allowed to have a pet squirrel. So then they killed Peanut the Squirrel. Well, now there's a similar story, little buck, a little deer in Louisiana. So we're going to get into that story. The government overlords strike again, unfortunately. Then ICE has led a successful campaign to recruit more agents despite attacks on the rise and Democrats calling them terrorists and even helping illegals evade arrest. Then an MS-13 gang member is now struggling with his gender identity in prison, and he's suing President Trump over it. Yep, that's real. A dad teaches his daughter a lesson by making her pay rent, and the internet is divided. I like it, though. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. Okay, so you remember the Peanut the Squirrel story. Very sad. It's a story about really government overreach, right? Because you have a pet squirrel. Yeah, you're not supposed to have a pet squirrel. Okay. But where does the government get the right to come in and kill your pet? Maybe take it away. I could see if you're breaking the law. Okay, if the animal certainly is in distress in any way or being abused in any way, I totally understand. I think the authorities should step in and save animals. But when the authorities are stepping in and not saving animals, they're actually killing animals. That I have a huge problem with. So Peanut the Squirrel, Fred the Raccoon, we've seen this before. I didn't like the ending, and now this story is happening again, history repeating itself, now in Louisiana. So I'm probably pronouncing her name wrong. Jaci. Is that Jackie? JC? Jackie? JC? Andy says JC, but I don't know. So Jaci Sibley, she is a Louisiana resident, and a woman in Baton Rouge found a deer, a baby deer, in her garden. She went to Jaci and said, can you take this deer in? They have a farm, they have a large property. And they said, sure. So the Sibleys, over the last 7 years, have been taking care of this deer because little Buck is blind. The little deer was blind, and they said the deer is free to leave, but it never did. Probably because the deer was blind. Maybe it didn't know where to go. Maybe it didn't feel comfortable being out in the wild, being blind. I mean, that's certainly a detriment. Maybe it would leave the deer vulnerable, right? So little Buck never left, and the Sibleys were okay with it. So for 7.5 years, little Buck became part of their family until last December. Agents received an anonymous tip that a deer was living on the Sibleys' property. That is when agents came to their property, seized little Buck, and euthanized little Buck. This is all according to State Representative Lauren Ventrella, who is now sounding the alarm on this. Because after the whole Peanut the Squirrel thing, State Representative Lauren Ventrella, she passed legislation recently in Louisiana saying that, you should be able to have animals on your property like squirrels, chipmunks, things like that. Deer was not included in that legislation. So now she's trying to push forward and hopefully pass new legislation to include animals, other animals, right? Because little Buck, unfortunately, not a chipmunk, not a squirrel. This is a deer. So unfortunately, little Buck was not protected by this legislation. So back in December, essentially the authorities rolled up and they darted little Buck. And Jaci Sibley said her son was, it's Christmas. They were having a Christmas party. They had to get him to come out and say goodbye to their pet from the last 7.5 years. This is horrible. It's horrible. Well, can we talk about for a second the anonymous tip? Because before I get into the government overreach of it all, this keeping tabs on your neighbors and telling on your neighbors, this was a thing during COVID. They just became the annoying kid in school that says, oh, you didn't check our homework. Just annoying. Telling on your friends, telling on your neighbors. This kind of behavior is just reprehensible. Leave people alone. Leave people alone. The anonymous tip, that just pisses me off. Again, we saw this during COVID when you weren't supposed to have groups of more than 6 people together, right? It was, 6 feet to sow the spread. You can't have more than 6 people or 10 people or whatever it was. And people were having friends over because, who cares, right? And if you didn't have your masks on, if you had more than however many people, if you weren't social distancing or whatever, people were telling on their neighbors. So that pisses me off because the Sibleys were fine. The deer was fine for 7 years until what? They got an anonymous tip from who? Who tipped them off? In the case of Peanut the squirrel, they blasted Peanut the squirrel and their animals on social media. They were social media sensations. To my knowledge, the Sibleys weren't doing this. This is just a pet on their property that they were caring for, a blind pet at that. And he was doing okay. So this is the really scary part where we get into the government overreach of it all. Sibley said her husband received a criminal charge for possessing a quadruped along with $1,650 worth of fines. Yep. Mr. Sibley got a citation for illegal possession of wild game, and that could be anywhere from a $250 to $500 fine and up to 90 days in jail. Then he was also charged with that civil restitution for the deer, which brought it to the total of $1,650. The civil restitution charge was $1,624. So all in, $1,650 worth of fines. This is insane. So the Sibleys brought up a good point. And the state lawmaker as well, Lauren Ventrella, bringing up the good point that also in Louisiana, for my tiger fans, right? They have Mike the Tiger. So in the same state, you have multiple tigers that are being put in certain enclosures or concrete habitats that are nothing like their natural habitat. And it's okay. No one's getting upset about that. So she can't have a blind deer on her property that she nursed to health and provided for it and that it became a pet. Really, what's the difference here? So apparently prosecutors have declined to move forward with the case. So that's good. Dismissed both the fine and the criminal charge against her husband, which is all well and good, but Little Buck is dead. So I don't understand. I don't understand. If these people are not supposed to have the animals on their property, fine, you can remove them or put them in some sort of a animal sanctuary or a rehabilitation sanctuary or something like that. But to kill them? How can the government argue that these animals are better off dead than with their owners?
Well, a couple of thoughts. Number one, this isn't a metropolitan area. I grew up feeding deer. They would come down to the river. You'd feed them.
Don't tell on yourself, Andy.
We would name them. This is absolutely ridiculous. Second of all, Justin and I we're really proud right now. We got an exclusive scoop, and fresh off the press, right, Justin? Off the Nightly Scroll press, we found a direct lookalike for the culprit who called in with the anonymous tip.
Let's see it.
That buck. So this put out an APB, and we need to figure out. Somebody find out who this woman is, and let's tell her to stop.
Deloria or something. What's her name?
Rosa Delora.
Rosa Delora, yeah. Oh, man. I mean, it pisses me off that the animals are getting killed, because you can't argue that what the government is doing is stepping in and making anyone safer or anything. The animal was fine. The animal was alive. There's no evidence that the animal was being abused or hurt or in distress in any way. So how can the government argue that they're doing their job, that they're doing what the people elected them to do? They're not making anyone safer. They're not making the animal any safer. They killed Little Buck. So justice for Little Buck. And there is I think it's a change.org campaign that's been going around. You can search it if you search Little Buck. And people are trying to get the legislation passed. I mean, of course, at this point, you can't bring Little Buck back. But hopefully, if they pass legislation that can protect people in Louisiana, and also hopefully this will encourage other states to pass similar legislation so that something like this doesn't happen again. We saw this with Peanut the squirrel. We saw this with Fred the raccoon. We saw this now with Little Buck the deer. Let's not make this a trend. Let's not make this a pattern, because it's already becoming one, and let's step in and stop it, because these people are animal lovers. They mean no harm. The animals were safe until the government stepped in and killed them. So F the government, right? This is just like an F the government kind of a segment, because it's just, I don't understand. They're just horrible.
I mean, this seems like absolutely ridiculous. I'm with you. But like, I guarantee you, if the person who called had that experience with making a connection with an animal like that, mind would be changed instantly.
Someone in the chat says, in Louisiana, this smells personal. Which, again, to my point about neighbors telling on neighbors, you're right. It probably is personal. Probably a neighbor who didn't like them or knew about the deer, knew that it was illegal, and wanted to be a thorn in their side. And I mean, seriously, if I worked in the government, I mean, I guess if you're in this wildlife department, this is your job to enforce the law. But shame on the people who told on their neighbors. They're just annoying snitches.
Well, we're talking about a deer, a squirrel, and a raccoon. You know, we're not talking about a grizzly bear. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Like, people aren't in
let's take a deep breath.
Yeah. I mean, I could see some sort of rodents that carry diseases and whatnot, maybe, but I mean, come on. In any of these cases, the animals were safe. They were not a threat to anyone. They were not rabid. I mean, come on. Let's be real. Let's focus on things that matter, okay? I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but I mean, I know everyone watching agrees with me that the government is completely in the wrong here, but it's just ridiculous. So justice for Little Buck and Peanut and everyone else. All right, moving on now to DHS. So as we know, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem has launched now a successful campaign.
Come home and let me tell you, all over the...
Hold on, just a little tease. Just a little tease of what's coming. So Kristi Noem, she has led a successful campaign to recruit more ICE agents because, listen, the illegals, the situation that we had under President Biden, it's going to take a lot of work to undo all of that bad, right? So we need a lot of good guys on the front lines getting these illegals. We need them deported, etc. So that means we need manpower, right? So they launched this campaign to get more ICE agents to sign up. And they offered a $50,000 signing bonus. Now, not only that, new ICE recruits can also benefit from some sort of a student loan repayment and forgiveness plan. Not only that, a 25% law enforcement ability pay for HSI special agents, premium overtime payments, enhanced retirement benefits, and other incentives. So guess what? They have had 100,000, more than 100,000 applicants, which is wonderful. And as we know, it is not easy to be an ICE agent these days. Attacks on them are up more than 830% from this time last year. And Democrats are certainly not helping at all. So Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, she's a Democrat in Illinois. She's a beneficiary, she says, of birthright citizenship because her parents came to the United States from Guatemala and her husband is an illegal alien. and she doesn't have the nicest things to say about ICE agents. So here we go.
Well, Tom Homan, let me tell you, all over the country, we will continue to stand up for our rights, and we will continue to call out the terrorist organization that is ICE.
A terrorist organization. Literally. She is an elected official saying that a government organization is a terrorist organization. Huh? Now, another Democrat senator in Arizona has admitted to tipping off illegals in her area, which is crazy. So you could see this. Libs of TikTok posted this on X, and then she responded. So Libs of TikTok said Arizona State Senator Annalise Ortiz, Democrat, of course, is actively impeding and doxing ICE by posting their live locations on Instagram saying, charge her. And she responded. State Senator Annalise Ortiz responded and said, yep, when ICE is around, I will alert my community to stay out of the area. And I'm not effing scared of you nor Trump's masked goons. Arizona, what are we doing? What are we doing, people? Next time this lady's up for re-election, let's get her out of here because she's making your community less safe. I mean, maybe she's helping people who are here illegally. She's helping criminals, but she's not helping you. She's not helping your community be safer. She's not helping getting criminals off the streets. That's wild. Not only that, doxing ICE agents and putting them in danger when, like I said, attacks on them are up more than 830%. That's irresponsible. It's irresponsible and it's evil. It's just totally evil. So Arizona State Senate President Warren Peterson, he is now referring this matter to the U.S. Attorney Arizona District for investigation. So he is making sure that this state senator is being looked into. Thank goodness. But then she doubled down in an interview with ABC 15. Listen to this.
I am not intimidated by this because what I did was simply alert my community to stay away from an area where ICE could be to keep themselves safe.
Okay, so again, protecting people in the community who have broken the law. So we have Democrats calling ICE agents terrorists, and then we have Democrats helping illegals in their area to continue to evade the law. Meanwhile, ICE just nabbed an illegal alien accused of trafficking $12 million worth of crystal meth in South Dakota. You heard that right. These are the kinds of people that Democrats are protecting instead of you, the citizens who voted them into office. So this is in South Dakota now. This is happening all over the country. We're moving all around, right? So this is just an insane story. So a highway patrol trooper in South Dakota pulled over this illegal alien for speeding. So he's speeding. Then they pull him over. Then the highway patrol is saying, this guy is a little sketchy. He's acting in a suspicious manner. Let's search the car. So this prompted a vehicle search. A police dog started sniffing around and alerted the officers to something going on. Then law enforcement found 207 pounds of crystal meth in the car. This driver is facing charges for felony distribution and manufacturing of a controlled substance, felony possession of a controlled drug substance, misdemeanor possession or use of drug paraphernalia. So again, when I see these headlines about Democrats protecting illegal aliens, I know that there are probably some illegal aliens who are not drug addicts. They're not murderers. They're not rapists. I understand that. But when you see the reality of, the amount of illegal aliens who are also criminal, obviously it's a crime, right? But when they're also violent criminals and they're also trafficking drugs into this country, that can kill American citizens, I don't understand why the Democrats are protecting them so hard. I talked about this yesterday. Likely it's because when Democrats are in office again, they're going to do their darndest to make all illegal immigrants have the right to vote. And then there we go. Well, Republicans can just kiss any office goodbye in the future if that's the case, because Biden, and we saw it under him, they'll just import tens of millions of illegals, and whoever comes in next will just undo all the good that the Trump administration did, and they'll just usher in all of the bad. So this is an insidious and evil campaign to take over this country and make it look unrecognizable. That's what this is all about. Now, here's another story too, where and the Trump administration, they were very clear that they're going to start with illegal aliens who are also violent criminals. And they've been nabbing a bunch of gang members, these Tren de Aragua gang members, MS-13 gang members. These are dangerous monsters. So when I see the Trump administration getting these people off the streets, I'm cool with it. If you're, State Senator Annalise Ortiz or whatever her name is, you are protecting people like this. But, when I see it, I'm happy. But this is an illegal alien. He is an MS-13 gang member, and he wants to transition to a woman. So he is sentenced to serve 21 years in prison for the kidnapping and murder of a 14-year-old and then the murder of another 17-year-old. Okay, so now he is suing President Trump and the Bureau of Prisons because he is claiming that in prison, they are refusing to recognize his gender identity. I'm serious. No, I'm dead serious. He's complaining now, making a whole host of complaints that people in the prisons are just not treating him right. Whatever his name was before, I don't know. Now he's trying to go by Fendi G Sky. Fendi G Sky is now identifying as a female. And he's starting to file these complaints saying that trans identifying prisoners are being mistreated. They're not being treated the same as other prisoners. This is his quote. Transgender women prisoners in men's prisons, he claimed, are often met with harsher, more degrading treatment than their cisgender counterparts. This to me signals that he wants to identify as a woman to be moved to a woman's prison and then do whatever he wants to the women who are in there.
And that has happened.
Because I know. So he's claiming that he's getting mistreated by all these men in this men's prison. So now he wants to transition to a woman so that he can get moved. And, I'm not going to claim that I know what goes on in prison, but I can't imagine that it's good. And I can't imagine that I don't think that I don't know what his mental health is. He could be lying about being transgender, but I'm assuming that he's lying. And if you are a MS-13 gang member, I don't think that you have good intentions when you go to the women's prison. Something just tells me that. So he's saying also that, he's being treated badly in the prisons. Okay, so don't transition then. If it's such a detriment to be a trans woman in a men's prison, then don't transition. What do you mean? Don't identify as Fendi G Sky and then you won't have a problem. There, problem solved. Don't do it. Anyway, taking a quick break to tell you about our sponsors for tonight's show. First up is Blackout Coffee. Let's talk about convenience, everyone, without sacrificing quality. You already know I'm a huge fan of Blackout Coffee. If you're like me and you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning, their coffee pods are a total game changer. These aren't your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh roasted, bold coffee made right here in Florida, and they work with single-serve pod brewers. So yes, they are fast, they are easy, and they are actually delicious. I started my day with it, then I had a little midday pick-me-up as well. No more bitter, stale junk. Just pop one in, boom, strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. It's so easy. I did it before I went to the gym today. So whether you're racing out the door, juggling kids, jumping into back-to-back calls, this is your new morning lifesaver. And the best part is they ship nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you live, you can have Florida fresh coffee at your door in just days, and it is fresh. You can smell it. So just head to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. I also want to tell you about our friends at Genucel. Summer is here, and so are those visible dark marks, sunspots, and other blemishes that the sun leaves behind. Until now, the dark spot corrector from our friends at Genucel helps visibly fade away dark marks, sunspots, scars, and other signs of discoloration all over your skin. It is formulated with patented LumiSkin, a revolutionary new ingredient, and Genucel's legendary base shown to help visibly reduce age spots, sunspots, and even uneven skin tone for a brighter, more youthful look. You will be amazed at how quickly you see results, and you can now enjoy your summer sun, your beach, and your barbecues without those pesky little spots. So you will see results or get your money back. No questions asked. And right now, you can get your dark spot corrector with every Genucel complete skincare package for over 70% off. World-class skincare that actually works, guaranteed, or your money back. So you might as well try it. Genucel.com/scroll. Genucel.com/scroll. Visit Genucel.com now and get a free spa box with 2 bonus gifts in your order, plus all orders upgraded to free priority shipping. Genucel.com/scroll. Genucel.com/scroll. All right. This Idaho 4 killer. We're on a streak here talking about the big bad government, and we're talking about when you're in prison, like all these criminals. So the Idaho 4 killer apparently is annoyed. He is obviously now serving 4 life sentences after slaying 4 University of Idaho students. He is now transferred to the only maximum security prison in the state. He is now being held in solitary confinement, and he's not happy about it. He's not happy about it. He's in a cell all by himself at all times, except for 1 hour a day when he's allowed to go outside, recreation time, but he has to be in restraints at all times. And he's only allowed to shower every other day. So there you go. That's his existence, but it's more than that. So according to Chris McDonough, he is a retired homicide detective. He spoke to the New York Post and said that apparently this Idaho 4 killer has made multiple complaints to prison guards that he's been unable to sleep. He says it's driving him crazy. The inmates are tormenting him all night, almost all hours of the day. They are taunting him through the vents in his cell. That's what he says. They're getting up and they're yelling into the grate at him. What are they yelling? I don't know. Maybe they're just yelling noises. Maybe I don't know if they're taunting him. But apparently, according to this insider, he's extremely annoyed and frustrated. And he's been complaining to the authorities because he can't sleep. No, I'm serious. He can't sleep. Who is going to have a lick of compassion for this disgusting monster? I personally hope he never sleeps again. He should never sleep soundly ever again. I hope that get these guards what they need. Not the guards, get these inmates who are bullying him, get them whatever they need to keep going. I say keep it up. Annoy him. I hope that they drive him totally insane. Can you imagine, complaining that you're annoyed? He took the lives of 4 innocent college students. They'll never get to feel annoyed ever again. Their parents will never get to hug them again. And he's feeling annoyed because he's being taunted. He deserves way more than being taunted and annoyed and not getting sleep. I'll tell you that. I hope that he never gets sleep, and I hope that it drives him into psychosis. Truly. Just sad. Very, very sad. All right. CNN, Abby Phillips on CNN. She's on that, I don't know what the show is called. What's that show that they have in the midday? Scott Jennings is on it. It's their panel show. I don't know what it's called. You don't know? Justin says, who cares? True. Okay. I was just trying to get, this is the show that it was on. But anyway, they're talking about Newsnight Okay, so I thought it was in the middle of the day. I guess it's not. Newsnight. Okay. So Abby Phillips is on this panel, right? And she's talking about President Trump's mission to clean up D.C. And unfortunately, she made Trump look so much cooler than he already is. Watch this.
Let's get right to what America's talking about. Donald Trump makes himself Batman, and the nation's capital is Gotham City. The president of the United States has declared himself crime fighter in chief, and he's taking over Washington's police force. It is a move that the D.C. mayor is calling unsettling and unprecedented.
You can't make the guy look any cooler, any better. I mean, people were joking on social media, like, I already voted for him. I mean, you can't make me like him anymore.
What would be the call signal in the sky for Trump as Batman?
Ooh.
What would it? That's a good thing
McDonald's
for the chat.
Burger.
Pick a big McDonald's
a
logo.
Little Big Mac. I don't know. What would
big dollar sign?
A Diet Coke?
Oh,
dollar
that could be
sign?
cool too.
What else?
I mean,
eagle?
the
Bald
Trump
eagle?
the Trump name is literally
Just
on
Trump, right?
just Trump in the air.
Yeah. All he needs is a big Trump in a nice gold color, just like at the top of all of his buildings. I think
A gold Trump mobile comes in.
Yeah, I like it. Someone in the chat said a Diet Coke logo, a big T, the hair. Yeah, like a golden hairdo.
Oh,
That'd
just
be a good
the
one.
silhouette of his hair.
That's how you know it's him. Someone said the golden arches. I like the hair because, you know, any other logo, if you do the McDonald's logo or the Diet Coke logo, that's not just Trump. Like, his hair is just him. That is just his brand.
Yeah,
So
if there's
I
a
like
Diet
that.
Coke logo in the sky, I'd probably drive over. They don't want me to do anything. So like definitely probably his. We'll see
Love
what
it.
we can cook up here. See if we can mark this up.
Great idea, everyone in the chat. Definitely the hair. Someone said the garbage truck. Remember when he drove the garbage truck? Yeah. I say the Trump hair. That would be great. Someone in the chat said, now I'm hungry. Okay, sorry. So anyway, now that Abby Phillips has made President Trump into Batman saving Gotham City, I mean, again, you cannot make the man look any cooler, any better. We already love him to death. We already love that he's cleaning up the city. It just resurfaced this video of President Trump saying years ago that he is Batman. Play this.
Mr. Trump,
Yes,
are you Batman?
I am Batman.
He manifested the moment. Maybe she said that because of that clip. I don't know. Maybe I think she's just said it because of like the whole crime fighting aspect, but that is very cute. The little, are you Batman? I am Batman. I love it. I absolutely love it. I've got a quick Epstein update. What do we have before? We've got a few more things before scrolling time. So we've got an Epstein update because Congressman Thomas Massey from Kentucky and Ro Khanna from California. This is bipartisan because Massey's Republican, Ro Khanna's Democrat. They are announcing a press conference on September 3rd, which is the day after Congress returns from their August recess, which, you know, could they take any more time off, these people?
Seriously.
When I read this, I'm like, get back to work.
I need a Swalwell. I usually wouldn't say this except for the fact of what he posted. I need a Swalwell update to see if he's still pitching for the.
Is he still working out? Is he still working for the Leprechauns?
What was the name of the California team that
the
he was?
Dublin Leprechauns.
The Leprechauns, yeah. I'd say he's like 0-4. What do you think he is? Like his ERA is probably
I
like
don't know.
21.
And he's shooting baskets in the pool and he's working out at the gym. I mean, it must be nice to be Eric Swalwell and everyone else in Congress who, they're doing nothing on the taxpayer dime. So anyway, Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, they are going to hold a press conference when they decide to finally come back to work on September 3rd. And they are going to feature appearances from survivors of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. This is all coming, obviously, because people on both sides of the aisle are pressuring the White House to release additional files on Epstein and Maxwell. And this just pisses me off. I mean, it seems like everything that these politicians do seems like a virtue signal. And I'm not trying to pass judgment on these victims, of course. They're not being forced to speak that we know of. but I just question why now. I guess it's to signal that Congress is back, so let's pressure the White House to release the Epstein files. I am all for transparency. I think that everything should be released so long as victims are protected. But, whether we are satisfied with the evidence they have or not, at least the government will have laid everything out. But the only spectacle I want is a press conference with Attorney General Pam Bondi. I don't really care to do for this like bipartisan effort with the survivors and all that. Like, that's great. All I want to hear from is Pam Bondi. I want the new media like myself to be able to be allowed in and ask some burning questions on live television. I volunteer. But, after all of the flip-flopping, I have the files, no I don't, case is closed, why do you even care about this? Okay, sorry, case is open again. It's a hoax. Okay, fine. It's not a hoax and it's not over. Case isn't closed. We'll interview Glenn Maxwell. And then all of a sudden it is a hoax and Obama's behind it. I mean, we haven't really gotten any clarity and we've just been left in the dark for the most part. So, while I appreciate this bipartisan effort to force the White House to release information, there is still a mess that hasn't been cleaned up. And they are hoping that they can sweep it under the rug and everyone will forget. I don't forget. And I know everyone in the chat listening and watching does not forget. So while I appreciate the effort, I would say I'm still waiting for an apology from Attorney General Pam Bondi and some more information and some answers as to why she lied on national television. So that's on that. We have to get into the economy a little bit because there's an interesting new poll that came out about Gen Z and millennial spending habits. And we can throw this up here. Out of 3 out of 5 young adults, they admit that spending affects their financial goals. But almost 70% still prioritize in-person connection with friends a week. This is based on Ally Bank's survey. They commissioned this survey, and 1,000 Gen Z and millennials ranging from 18 to 44 were asked about their spending habits and how it relates to friendship, when they're seeing their friends, how much it costs. And apparently they found that on average, people spend about $250 a month on activities with friends, which I would say I probably spend maybe that when I go out. I think that that's probably accurate. Anytime you leave the house, unless you're consciously not spending money, it is very easy to spend $250 on fun stuff in a month. So apparently they are finding that it's on average $250, but a lot of people spend over $1,700 over 6 months. Andy, you seem shocked by this. I really don't see.
I could buy maybe like $100. I mean, you think about it. If you go out and see friends 10 times and, it's a $6 coffee and a $4 bagel or something like that, you know what I mean? That adds up 10 times a month.
I don't think that people are seeing their friends that often.
That's an incredible amount of money.
I think it's not so much that they're going to get coffee. I think that they are going out to dinner, and let's say you get a drink or two. It's hard to keep it under $60 now.
What happened to just chilling at the house and splitting a pepperoni pizza?
Let me tell you that, though. I was thinking about this because it's very hard to hang out for free. I was trying to think about this, like, can I hang out with my friends for free? Now, granted, I don't have very many friends here in Florida, so I'm not out and about as much as I was in Nashville or in New York. So in New York, easily you go out to dinner. In Nashville, easily $100. That's like easy. On the low end, you're going out for a night, especially if you go to happy hour with even coworkers. That's one night a week where you're socializing. You're probably spending what? I don't know, $30, $50, I don't know. Then, I mean, especially in New York City, a glass of wine is like $18. So it's just insane.
And sometimes $15 to park your car.
Right. Exactly. So these things add up. Like, this is not crazy to me. And people in the chat are saying tipping, like when you go out, you know, you're tipping on every drink, you're tipping the valet guy. There's a lot of things that add up. And I was thinking about, can you hang out with a friend for free? So I'm thinking the cheapest thing that you could possibly do with a friend is go for a walk. You can go for a walk and talk. You can go for a bike ride, something like that. That is free. You want to go walk your dogs together? That's free. But very quickly, these things add up. Let's go get a coffee. I'm hungry. Let's go get lunch. Now, even something where you think, okay, let me hang out with this friend. It's going to be cheap. You end up spending money. But let's say you stay in. Let's say you're having a house party, or not even a house party. Let's just say you invite a friend over. You're going to watch a movie or something. Like Andy suggested, let's order a pizza. Now it's not free. Let's say you go over to a friend's house. You're going to make dinner at home. You still got to go to the grocery store. You still got to get supplies. You still got to get ingredients. You still got to make something. I mean, doing anything costs money these days. So I actually think that $250 a month on fun stuff is not outlandish at all.
So this age range, you're sort of thinking what was it, like
This is
to
18 to 44.
But let's say 18 to 25, and the chat will totally identify with this. On Friday nights and Saturday nights in East Tennessee, people would just go sit in the back of their truck out in front of the Radio Shack parking lot and just like completely chill under the stars, listen to music.
Yeah.
No, nothing needed. So it's like, I think this is a more like it's a recent phenomenon.
Well, maybe it's just more, I don't know where they polled these people, where these millennials and Zoomers live. But if you're living in a rural area, maybe you're not going out to a restaurant. You know, maybe you are just eating at home or whatever, but you still have to spend money for the most part, unless you're sitting outside of the Radio Shack, sitting in your trunk.
I agree. It doesn't set up well for a younger gen. I think about that because my daughter's 18. You know, it doesn't set up well for that.
It's hard. I mean, I remember in college, I would babysit and I would make $200 a week and I would live off of that. That was my money to go food shopping. That was my money to go to the bar. It's not a lot of money, but...
That's gone quick.
It's gone quick. You can spend $200 really quick. So anyway, I want to... It's already 45.
The hobbies thing is so good.
The what?
The hobbies thing.
Okay, let's do it fast.
Is so good.
Okay. So I found this. This was in, I think it was a New York Post or Daily Mail article. I forget. But it was talking about the 15 most attractive hobbies and the 15 least attractive hobbies for men according to women. Which I think that we can have an interesting conversation about this. Some of these hobbies shouldn't even be on the list. They are not hobbies. But, all right. Is this okay, these are the most attractive. This is 15 most attractive hobbies that men can have according to women. Number 1, reading. Number 2, speaking a foreign language. Is that a hobby?
I don't know. Does a book on tape count?
No. I think you have to read a book and actually have a book.
Not a book on tape?
No, I mean, then that's just like listening to a podcast. Is that a hobby? I guess.
Yeah, okay. I mean, just for the sake of getting through it, like keep cooking on this because there's some goofy ones.
Yeah, so reading, foreign languages, playing instruments, cooking, woodworking, painting, writing, gardening, swimming, photography, astronomy.
I don't know.
What,
any Galileos out there? I mean, like, what are we doing?
In a telescope? I don't know. Okay.
I mean, I don't. What you go? Say somebody you go out on a date and then, you know, you go to his place and what are you just going to be googly eyed because he's got like, a telescope and all the constellations up in the living room.
Now the next one: hiking, archery, blacksmithing. Hello? It's 2025. Like, how many people are blacksmithing as a hobby?
I don't know, but those people are awesome. Give me 7 blacksmiths in a fist fight with 7 astronomers.
I just think it's funny that it's on the list of the 15 most attractive hobbies. How many men are blacksmiths?
What about,
You know
there's
someone?
one.
Yeah. Justin knows
Justin
someone.
knows a blacksmith. Shout out. Whoever that
Someone
guy
in
is.
the chat says, I do blacksmithing.
Hey,
Okay,
shout
maybe
out, whoever you are. Great.
Someone in the chat also said, where's golfing, where's fishing? Again, I agree, but this is the list of the 15 most attractive hobbies according to these women.
So being good at sport, something traditionally that would be, I would think would be on the list, that would be like something a guy could have, that'd be like athleticism.
Right. Well, traveling is
going
the
to the
last
gym.
one on the list.
Traveling makes you not attract. You can be the world's ugliest human being and travel.
No, but I think people would say someone being well-traveled is a good thing. I will say
Cultured.
it's really not attractive. Like, you can have a hobby. Let's say I'm taking some off of this list. Cooking, painting, swimming. If you're bad at these hobbies, that's not attractive. I think if you have a hobby that you're bad at, I would not find that attractive. And someone in the chat just said these are not manly. Someone said this list is crap.
I concur. I can totally concur with the chat.
If you're bad at cooking, I don't find that attractive. If you're bad at swimming, I don't find that attractive. These are the things that would give you the ick. So
Yep.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you just have the hobby. Like, I think you have to be good at it for it to be attractive. Archery, like if you're bad at archery, how is that attractive? You're not some macho man if you're bad at it.
No, but apparently all the astronomers out there are getting all the dates.
I guess so. And I've never met one. Someone said it must be a liberal woman's list. I was going to make this point because it seems like a lot of these macho hobbies not on there. To your point about going to the gym, playing sports, like how many guys do you know play pickup basketball or something like that, or intramural basket, anything. So where is that on this list? I guess these women don't find that attractive. I would find that personally attractive if they were active.
No, I agree.
And
What
that's
about
nowhere
hunting?
To be seen on the list. Hunting, sure. I actually think I like when people have hobbies. So I think in general it's a positive thing, but I would say better to be good at it than not. Let's go into the 15 least attractive because these are insane. Okay. 15 least attractive hobbies according to women: comic books, cosplay, debating, drinking, MTG, which I think stands for, it's a game, Magic the Gathering. Don't know what that is. I would say it sounds unattractive to me, but that's just me. Anime, makeup, crypto, cigars.
Justin and I object. We
Clubbing.
object with the cigars.
I know you guys object because you do it before the show.
Allegedly.
I come in on 2 wheels driving, according to Andy, and then they're smoking cigars outside. Clubbing, marijuana, Funko. I've never heard of that in my life. I don't know what Funko is. Can you look that up and tell me? Arguing online, porn, gambling, and manosphere. So I just have to say, how many straight men are doing makeup as a hobby? Probably none. Okay, so I don't find like comic books, video games, I don't find that attractive personally. You can be upset, you can whatever. I don't find that attractive. Drinking is very high up there. Again, I think if you are an excessive drinker, that's a problem, but I would never say that drinking is a hobby. I think if drinking is your hobby, you're an alcoholic.
Somebody in the chat said clowns.
Clowns? What does that mean?
I mean, like that's
Being a clown?
Yeah, it's as stupid as anything else on this list. Like if you had a guy that dressed up as clowns for parties on the weekend.
That would be horrifying. Again, crypto being on this list, I think there's a negative connotation about crypto bros being annoying. but I would say investing is a positive thing in general. So I don't really understand why that's on the list. Arguing online, is that a hobby? I would never consider.
Is that sort of
these
like
things a
trolling?
hobby.
I think trolling could be a hobby.
I find that unattractive.
I mean, we get enough of those in our chat.
If you're a
Speak
troll,
takes good care of us with the trolls.
Unattractive. Porn? Since when is that a hobby? Again, if that is a hobby, you are an addict, you have a problem, you need to seek help. Same thing with gambling. And then manosphere is the last thing on the list. So again, manosphere, according to the left, that is listening to Joe Rogan and Theo Vaughn. So I guess listening to manly podcasts is a problem. Not for me. If you listen to Joe Rogan, I'll do that with you. That's a green light for me. We can talk about aliens and
Funko Pop.
Funko Pop?
I guess if you collect these things, I mean, is that what they're saying? Like if you go
Grown
on a date
men
and you
do
walk
this?
in and a guy has 400 of these on his mantle.
Grown men do this?
Oh, I've never heard of this.
I've never heard of this either. Is this an American thing or is this something else? Someone in the chat says arguing online is a way of life, not a hobby. Agreed that it's not a hobby, but it's a problem. All right, let's get into some scrolling time. Wait, actually, before we get into scrolling time, we should talk about what's flipped. Oh, God. This is the Guinness World Record holder for Funkos.
He could be available on Friday.
No, thanks. Can we talk about what men find attractive and least attractive? Like, what are hobbies that men find most attractive and least attractive about women, if you had to come up with some? What do you think? Clubbing?
Yeah, Justin said clubbing. Clubbing
Okay.
is on the least.
Okay. I like clubbing.
on
I don't go
the
often,
least.
but sometimes I get the itch.
I think guys are more simple in this. Like overall, like just negative attitude or complaining would be a practical answer.
Complaining is not a hobby, though.
Complaining isn't a hobby. I think that some people.
Astrology is
Yeah, I would
Astrology.
also add
Justin said
astrology.
astrology. I feel like that's a good one. Always asking for money, someone said in the chat. That's not a hobby. No, what's a hobby that
A shopaholic.
someone
Justin
said
had a good one.
naps. Is taking naps a hobby? Maybe. Ooh, someone said least attractive, addicted to your phone. Sorry, Hayley. Agreed. I think this is a very unattractive thing that's very unattractive about me. And unfortunately, it's part of my job. This isn't just because I have no life. I mean, I need to for my job. However, if I am spending time with someone, if I am out to dinner with someone, I'm not on my phone. Like, I'm not a rude person. So does that make a difference? Does that help? Maybe. Someone said homemaking, crocheting, maybe knitting. Are these
I got sports on
attractive sports? Do you like if a woman is good at sports or likes watching sports?
Both.
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 Yeah, when I'm on dating apps, there are a lot of guys I think that are out there looking for a friend, not so much a girlfriend. It's like what I'm looking for, someone to go to a dive bar and bet on sports with. And it's like, go call your buddy Joe. What do you need me to do that with you for, you know?
So you don't want to go to Vegas and sit in
No.
the sports betting room
Like, I
with
think
30
a lot
people
of
smoking?
men are looking for companionship just in general. And they're hoping that they can find a girl to do things that they would do with their friends. But anyway. Alrighty, let's get into some scrolling time. All right. This first one, you might remember. I think this is the other day. This was last week. I played a video of the rapper Lotto who she was at the jewelry store and the jeweler said, I'll give you $2,000 off of your bill if you can answer this riddle. Why does the 45th and 47th president have the same parents? She could not answer. So now she is in a new song And she is rapping about F Donald Trump. I didn't vote for this guy, blah, blah, blah. So we know where she stands politically. We know that maybe she's not very intelligent. But there's a guy that I found on TikTok, and he is dancing to Lotto's new song about F Donald Trump. So watch this. And he's shaking his behind real fast to that song, F Donald Trump, and he's just...
You wonder what time of the day this thing is? This guy looks like he works in a cubicle. This looks like it was like 9:45 a.m.
Could you imagine this is your coworker and you don't know what he's doing in his cubicle, but then you go on your phone later and you're scrolling and you see this video? I mean, how do you look this man in the face in the morning meeting? I don't know if you can. People in the chat are saying loser, soy boy, moron, not manly. Agreed. But this is the left's idea of a manly man. They like that. They think that manly is hating Trump. That's all it takes to get a liberal woman. They have deemed masculinity toxic, so in their minds, effeminate men are desirable, which is fine because it leaves more real men for the rest of us.
Yeah, this guy should have been the whole unattractive chart.
Yes. Unattractive hobbies for men, shaking your behind on TikTok and to a rap song about F Donald Trump. Crazy.
At 9:30 in the morning.
At 9:30 in the morning. And also, so this reminds me, because I've said this many times on the show, about how Kamala Harris spent all this money to have Meg Thee Stallion twerk for everyone at her rallies. And I used to say, who is this getting to the polls, right? And I think we found Exhibit A. I think he was maybe sold by the booty shaking. All right, this next one is crazy, okay? It's crazy in that this is the Human Wildlife Project. This guy films people in the wild, the same way that wildlife photographers would film animals to observe them in their natural habitats, how they interact with each other. And he is testing the Hawthorne effect, which is people acting differently when they think that they're being recorded or when they're on camera. This particular experiment was done in Seattle, so watch this.
So it's okay. Why the f*** are you handing down my dress, you fucking freak?
Can we actually pause it right there?
You're gonna have to explain yourself.
I already have a lot to say. So this guy is in Seattle, downtown Seattle. He is just filming. And then he's seeing how people react as part of this, I don't know, experiment. He's filming, and of course, in Seattle, you attract green hairs like they're moths to a flame, right? So he's got this green hair, wearing a dress. It's a man wearing a dress, like maybe trans, I don't know. And he's saying, well, first of all, he tried giving the middle finger, but it looked something like this. He was just throwing up fingers in general at this guy and said, "Why are you filming me up and down, you perv," or something like that. He wants to be a victim so freaking bad. Like, there are people in this world, they're so sick, they want to become women so that they can call guys pervs. Genuinely. They aren't victims, so they have to just find victimhood everywhere. Okay, you can play the rest of it.
Explain yourself,
and
bro.
He won't say a word. So he
when law enforcement's get here, you're gonna have to explain like why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, what? Do you have nothing better to do with your time? Like,
this is an employee.
On your Mother's Day, right?
Can we pause it again? Sorry. This woman is saying, "Don't you have something better to do?" To the man filming in public, which is totally legal, by the way, totally fine. This woman is asking, she's got an employer's shirt on. She's working at what looks like a restaurant or a cafe. She's got her apron on, and she's asking this guy, "Don't you have something better to do?" Don't you have something better to do? Go back to work. What is she doing talking to this guy? Totally crazy. Okay, sorry. Play it again.
No, you're filming me.
You're filming people's faces and stuff.
They are making this a bigger deal than it is.
Gross. Zooming in on people.
What the fuck? You know, like, we can still see
He's
your
angry.
eyes. You are identifiable. And we do have police on their way.
Portage Bay. That's where they're
You can
at.
also just do
Zoom in
this.
your face real quick
You
too.
totally just do this.
Ooh.
I mean, What?
So he's just
filming.
he's just a
He's not
quiet
saying
documentarian
anything. Yep.
of people's habits.
Yep.
You think that's strange?
A little strange, but at the same time, he's not doing anything wrong. It's not like he's filming, women at the beach or girls.
No, I get that.
Or
Sure.
anything like that. So
Everybody there was just eating. Like it was a very
not doing
populated,
anything
people
wrong.
having a good time.
He's not doing anything wrong. But again, it's interesting the way that people react because people are getting so mad. Now a crowd is forming. Now it's become an issue that it didn't need to be. Now they're saying, well, we're going to call the police. Now they're like ganging up on him. It's very interesting to see how these people react. This is also the opposite of a tourism ad for Seattle. This makes me want to stay very, very far away from these people. Someone in the chat just said, why don't they walk away? Yeah, exactly. No one is keeping them there. If they don't want to be filmed, then walk down the street. Totally insane. And then again, someone in the chat just brought up a good point. They are also videoing him. So they're saying like, you're videoing me. And it's like, okay, well, you're videoing each other. So
it looks just like a standoff in the middle of the street with iPhones staring at each other.
Yeah. Just insane.
That should be on the unattractive list.
All right, I know we're at 7:03, but I want to play this last one because I teased it in the beginning. This is a father who is teaching his daughter a very important lesson about how your money is not really your money. Watch.
Come with me as I collect rent for my 6-year-old daughter on the first of the month.
Hey, honey, I'm here to collect rent. So it'll be $3 for rent and then $1 for utilities.
$3, 1 for 2.
Okay, thank you. See you next month.
She owes $3 for rent, $1 for utilities, and yes, we're serious. After collecting, the money goes right into the budget binder. $3 into the household envelope, $1 into the utilities. But it's not just about paying rent, it's about earning and learning. This is her weekly chore chart. Every task earns points, and she needs 25 points to qualify for her $5 allowance. This week, she hit 26, so we pay her what she earned. $5 into her envelope marked payments. She's learning about money now, so she's financially savvy later.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And so he was interviewed by People, and he said this: I thought if she's going to earn money, it's also important that she learns not all of it is hers to spend. It all gets saved for her. We won't take her money. It's more about showing her that when you earn money, a chunk of it goes towards your needs before your wants. It's a budgeting lesson in disguise. This is top tier A+ parenting, in my opinion. Love it. Love it. I think more parents should do this. This is a great example to set your kids, especially because once you graduate college and you get your first real job, wait until you learn about taxes. Not only about just your money is not your money in that when you get a paycheck, you have to pay for things that you need before you want, but most of that paycheck is going to someone else. It's going to Big Daddy government instead. So I think this is a wonderful lesson. Good on this guy. All right. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Thanks for scrolling along with me. Oh, and we've got the Donald Trump bat signal to send us out. Absolutely love it. Gotham City is saved. I will see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.